How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Some more This is Politics with Laura. Okay. Putin and Trump are having their Alaskan meeting. This has been a long awaited meeting. So, oh my goodness. Okay, that's all that I can say. Now, it hasn't started yet, so let's go ahead and get a little information across. Okay. This right here is regarding the Ukraine and and Russia and the fighting that they have been engaging in, and I'm sorry, I've been having a little technical difficulties, so please bear with me, and please, when you come in, please hit like so my video can get on out there. So this has been long awaited. There has been much speculation. There has been much confusion, a lot of disinformation as far as what's going to happen right here. Is Trump in Putin's pocket? Is Putin in Trump's pocket? Where does Zelensky fit in? Does Trump really want to stop the war? Does he want to continue it? What does he get out of it? So there's a lot being said, thrown out there. People are taking noodles, throwing it against the wall and see what sticks. Now, there has been talk about why Zelensky has not been invited. Well, there is much to say there. It seems as if Zelensky, let me open this up real quick so that you can see what's going on. Oh, okay, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Hold on for a second. Let me bring this up. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Just stick with me, stick with me, stick with me. Okay, let me share this. So, all right. So things aren't ready as of yet. Okay, let me bring that down. Things aren't ready as of yet, but however, it's not going to stop us from having this conversation. So, it has been said that Zelensky was the one that has been causing the issues between between Russia and the Ukraine. So Putin would come to the table wanting to negotiate, wanting things to stop, and then Zelensky would come, make an agreement, and then just sort of rip things up, throw it up, and start all over again. Now, let's keep in mind that Zelensky has been wanting to be a part of NATO for a very long time, and also wanted to be a part of the EU, which the Ukraine isn't, because it has been considered one of those neutral countries like Poland and Slovenia and Estonia. All those countries were considered the Warsaw Pact countries, to where they were neutral and basically keeping a buffer zone between Europe and the United States, away from, at that time, the Soviet Union, which is now the Federation of Russia. Okay, now having that backstory right there and having that information right there, let's keep that in mind. So when we talk about this issue and why this meeting is extremely important, it's important because there has to be some kind of foundation, something to put down on paper to where there can be negotiation. So some may say, hey, why is it that Zelensky isn't there? Well, if you don't know, the United States, or at that time, Joe Biden / Obama, were the ones that were, and this is simply me, encouraging Zelensky to go a certain way. So he has been going a certain way that caused this kerfuffle to begin with. So Some may disagree. Some may say, no, he did it on his own. Some may say it was oligarchs in the Ukraine that caused this. Well, some may agree with you. Some may say, hey, you know, politics with Laura, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what occurred, right? And for the most part, there is a lot of truth to it. But however, Zelensky wanted that NATO acceptance. And the interesting part about it is that the Ukraine has been put in a position, not a voting position, just simply observation status within the United Nations. I'm sorry, the NATO, and he had that, and plus whatever Ukraine wanted, the United Nations, the NATO gave it to him. So they did, what was it, 18 separate operations that included Ukraine. So it's very sketchy to see where the Ukraine begins and NATO ends. Also where Ukraine begins and where the United Nations end. And they're sort of pushing Putin out because Putin is the big block in Europe. And he basically has a lot to do with the United Nations. I'm sorry, the European Union, forgive me. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place drinking this coffee, trying to keep up with this stuff. So please forgive me on that. Let me see. Making sure everything is working. All right. Okay. Now, waiting on this meeting to start. So I'm going to bring down a link. And if you want to come up and where's it at? Where's the link? Okay. I'm going to put the link down. So if you want to come up and state your piece, what you believe may happen, please come on up. We have time before the meeting actually begins. So why don't you come on up? I dropped a link to StreamYard. Come on up and we can have a quick conversation as far as how you think this meeting's going to go and what you think what's going to come out of it. If you want to come up, please do so. And let's have this engagement before, how can I say, the meeting that has the whole world on pins and needles. And that's exactly what it is. And that's exactly what it is. And where do we go from here? So this one meeting will determine a lot. Now, let me add something else to this. Now, within this going on, we also have the BRICS nations that are looming in the background. And it just so happens Putin belongs to the BRIC nations. It's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now, the funny thing is that Putin is not only representing himself and his country as far as what's going on in the Ukraine, but also he's a major hitter, heavy hitter in the BRICS nations. So he's serving as he has two different hats on. And it's going to be quite interesting to see how all of this fares out. It's going to be quite interesting. So if this is successful, which I believe it will be a successful meeting, I believe a lot of good is going to come out of it. And it's not only dealing with Zelensky and the Ukraine, it also deals with a lot of other issues as far as what's going on in Europe and how that plays into what's going on in Russia and how the trade is so big, and how all of Europe outside of the United States, because the United States is like, yo, rough, and then you have so much noise, and then you have the European Union, Europe over there, and they're screaming rough, while they get gas from Russia. Quite interesting. It's very interesting to see what's going to come out of this. So I don't know when this is going to start. Does anybody want to come up so you can give your thoughts on what you think is going to happen and what you believe, how you believe that this meeting is going to go and what you believe is going to come out of it. So the link is there. Come on up. Please push the like button. And if you want to, push subscribe. That would take me a long way. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, they have it on mute. So now, if you have been keeping up in the United States, President Trump sent the National Guards into Washington, D.C. Now, it's quite interesting. Now, people are saying that the military cannot be in the United States. It cannot have boots on the ground in the United States. Now, you got to keep in mind that the National Guards is for the United States to not only guard the borders, but to also to stop issues that are going on. It stops. It's been used a couple of times. Once in the 1960s, when it came to civil rights, they brought the National Guards down to, where was it, Arkansas? And at that in that point in time, the United States had a horrible racist problem. Now it still does. There's still racism that happens to be here in the United States, but it wasn't as bad as Bull Connor. So a lot has quailed down. However, this right here is for something completely different. Now we have Trump said 50 million people that came in the last 3.5 years, and some people call them Biden's people. Oh, man. That's all I can say. Biden's people. And now all the major cities, there happens to be a lot of issues that's going on, and the major cities just happens to be Democrats. And Washington, D.C. is a Democratic city, from the mayor on down to the city council, on down to the school board. It's all Democrat. Now, you're possibly wondering, also the shadow Senate and the shadow delegate, they're representing, they really have no real power except for persuading and saying, hey, DC needs this, okay? Having that information out there. Now, with the National Guard, what they're doing is they're going into areas stopping the violence. Now, some people say there's no violence in DC. Well, I would say a lot of times people that say that have never lived in DC. They came and visit and left. Now, what I will say, a lot of the issues, because I have lived in DC for 37 years, and one thing that I can tell you is that a lot of the problems that happens in DC are from the people that are from outside of the city into the neighboring areas in Maryland and in Virginia, whether if it's Alexandria, Virginia, Annandale, all those surrounding cities. It may be a little further out, Fairfax County and those areas, and also within on the other side of Maryland, whether if you have Silver Spring, Chillum, oh my goodness, Hyattsville, those areas surrounding DC. A lot of times people are on the outside and then they trickle into the city and cause issues and then run back out. In case if you don't know, I would tell you, between DC, Maryland, and Virginia, they have police to where they can go into each other's jurisdiction to arrest someone. So you may see a Maryland police officer zooming into DC. At one time, they had to stop at the border while somebody ran in. Now, then it got to the point to where when they were chasing after somebody, DC police will be there on the border to catch them. Now, they got into the point to where now there's such a to where they work together to quell violence and to stop crime, that they come into a Virginia state trooper or whatever it is, or a Maryland police officer or state trooper can come into DC borders deep in to arrest somebody, and vice versa, to where DC can go into Maryland or into Virginia to arrest someone. So the National Guards are in DC because of the violence. Now, again, some people may say, no, that's not true. It's a lot of flim flam. And well, what I will say is, yes, there is violence. Yes, there is. But however, understand what I just stated. There are a lot of people coming from outside the city coming in and causing problems, even shootouts, all types of stuff that goes on. And the crime is all around the city. And if you know anything about DC, you know that Georgetown, DC is segregated. DC is very, very segregated. Northwest, certain areas, the Palisades, Georgetown, Friendship. Oh my goodness, where else? Tenleytown. All of those areas are majority white areas, and then you go into the middle of the city to where you go into where it's kind of mixed, and then you go into northeast, southeast, southwest to where it's majority black. Now you're thinking, oh, well, they're the hoods. No. Those areas have very wealthy areas as well. Southeast has very wealthy areas, same as Northeast and in Southwest. They have a lot of well-to-do black people that live in the city. So when people say, oh my goodness, DC, it's the hood, you don't know. You're listening to somebody else that probably got kicked out and they're mad and they I'm joking. No, they probably did get kicked out and move way out and had to move way out there to Hagerstown. And that's on the Pennsylvania border. So you got a lot of that going on. Okay. Outside of that, if anybody wants to come up, you can. I would like to hear what you have to say on what you believe is going to be talked about. That would be great. So it looks like that something's going to happen soon. I think they're going to come out and start talking. I can't wait. Now, also, Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett is completely upset with the, dare I say, gerrymandering, or shall I say, the way the district has been cut. And Democrats are screaming foul, how dare you do this? And Republicans are saying, wait a minute, wait a minute. Let me make sure that you can see when I say this. Wait a minute. You allowed 50 million people to come in here and you gave everyone, when I say everyone, I mean everyone that came across the border were refugees. Now, from what I'm looking at it and how I'm taking it, I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it. I've been a lifelong Democrat and I kind of know the playbook when I see it. So they allowed 50 million people to come in. Kamala Harris was supposed to win. Okay. But however, she lost. Now you have all these millions of people that are in the United States that are in limbo and that had protective status until, 2015? And then they were going to become, let me see how the law works. If you're a refugee, then you get protective status, and then from there, then you get your citizenship after 5 years. So that would have been 5 years. 2020 to 2025, they would have been able to become citizens. Imagine 50 million people becoming citizens. And then they would have been dedicated Democratic voters. And then with that, having the influx of people, then you have to have extra senators and extra, Congress people or congressmen to be able to represent all the 50 million people around the United States. And they would have been voting what? Democrat. So that right there, in my opinion, was the plan. However, it didn't work out that way. Now Trump comes in. He says, stop the press. No, no. This is not going to happen. All of you people, you came here. Your protective status is done. You must go. No, They circumvented the Constitution. They bent it. They twisted it. They almost broke it in order to stay in power. No, we're going to bring sanity back to the United States. We're going to cut a lot of this stuff. You have all this stuff going on. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, still nothing. Still waiting for President Putin and President Trump to come and have their talk. So with all of that going on, now the Republicans said, okay, we need to redistrict some things. And the Democrats are screaming. The one who I think she almost fell out her chair and passed out was Jasmine Crockett. The way they cut her district, it almost cut her out. All the people in her district now belongs to someone else. You got to fight fire with fire. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying if you do certain things, expect something to come out. It's like you take the pendulum, you swing it one way, you think the pendulum is going to stay there. No, it's going to swing right back. So, hey, I'm just still waiting for them. Goodness gracious, waiting on them is like waiting on women to get ready to go out to dinner. I mean, they're doing their hair. Let me stop. Okay, let me bring it on. So there is a lot going on, a lot riding on this. Oh, also, Gavin Newsom, or as people lovingly call, look, whenever Trump gives you a name, it sticks. He calls him Gavin Newsom. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is awful. Just think Newsom. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm done. Gavin Newsom is running out saying, I'm going to go out for re-election and things are going to be great. I'm still going to do more for illegal immigrants. And Karen Bass is doing the same thing. We're going to make sure that we're going to protect our illegal immigrants and they're going to be safe in this state. And while that is happening, he looks at the numbers and his popularity just hit to the floor. Oh my goodness. He was popular at one time, but not anymore. He's completely done with that. So I don't know. I think California, the governor may turn to a Republican governor. I'm not sure, but that's just something to keep in mind the way things are going. It is crazy. And I gotta say, this country has been divided, so heavily divided to where on Instagram, I did Instagram Live, and I went down to videotape at the it's called the Stadium Armory, but it's also where the National Guards go to do training or whatever. And sometimes they have other military people that come in to train. And they go train, exercise, or do whatever right there. So I was down there, and at some point I had a conversation with a progressive Democrat. And the first thing he said as he was hearing me talk was, what am I talking about? And I'm like, okay, I'm talking about, what's going on over here, the National Guards as people come. And the first thing he says is, are you a Trump supporter? Are you a Republican? I'm like, where did that come from? We got to be something. I said, well, I'm an independent. And he says, well, I voted for, I'm a Democrat. I vote for Kamala Harris. And the first thing he said was Trump is a racist and he's a PDF file. I'm like, wow, where did that come from? I'm sitting here focusing on the National Guards people coming in, waving, saying hello, not getting their face, but maybe just having them on camera walking up. And there I'm competing with Fox 5. Fox 5 has their whole crew, and there was just me, my tripod, my headphones, and my cell phone heavily competing out there. And then he comes along and then just starts with, oh, Trump is a PDF file. He's a horrible president. He's going to start wars. And I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. You're throwing a whole lot out there. I'm like, what war did Trump start? And he goes, oh, well, he went over there and he caused the war over there in the Israel. I'm like, no. Trump had a peace deal. When Biden got in, he ripped up the Abraham Accord, and then all heck broke loose. And no matter what I said, he got flustered, and he didn't call me any names, so I'm grateful for that. Normally, they call me names, and somebody called me Trump's illegitimate daughter. Let me see. Oh, some wonderful names. Wonderful. Called me Uncle Tom and Aunt Thomasina. I mean, some crazy stuff. I was called a reverse racist. I'm like, wait a minute. All because I have a different opinion from you. I'm all these names? Really? I mean, come on, let's take a step back here. I mean, you're being a little bit too intense. We are allowed to vote for whomever we choose. Well, you ought to choose the right person. I'm like, whoa. And then shook my hand and said, have a good day, and walked away, and then walked into the camera and walked. I'm like, wow. Okay. Let me see. Still nothing. Still waiting. Still waiting. So, anybody can come up and tell me. The StreamYard link is in the comment section. So if you want to come up and say what you feel, how you think things may go, speak your mind on that before this meeting starts. I thought it would start by now. I thought it would have started by now. Oh, come on, Trump and Putin. You spend more time in a bathroom than women do. Come on now. Got my coffee ready. Got my water. Everything's ready for this debate. I gotta say, I'm excited. I'm really excited because this right here is a meeting that's going to, or a summit that is going to basically affect the way the world is going to be from here on out. Because you have the US and Russia are the two most powerful countries that are equal in weaponry, missiles, updated missiles, whatever they may have, whether if it's hydro, whether if it's aerial or whatever weapons, what they have, new weapons, whatever they have out, these two countries have it. And so much so that the US is spending more money on upgrading what they have. And now you have Russia that has done the same thing. But here's the interesting part. Russia is down in Venezuela along with China, upgrading the military, or shall I say the Navy of Venezuela. I thought that was interesting. And so the Pentagon's like, I think we may need to pay some attention to what's going on down there. We did not take Venezuela seriously at all. We're just ignoring them. Now we might need to spend a little bit of time looking over there and see what's going on. Now, Venezuela has a lot of upgrades. Russia and China are digitizing Venezuela, upgrading their systems, and they're turning Venezuela into working on becoming First Nation status. Now, Russia is a First Nation status. Oh, and I hate saying that. That sounds so elitist. I hate saying that, but that's what they call it. First Nation, Second Nation, or First World, Third World. Okay. I hate that. But you can check on StreamYard. It's right there, and come on up and tell me what you think is going to happen in this meeting. Do you think it's going to be beneficial? Do you think Trump and Putin can come to some kind of resolve? Let me see. Let me put up a poll. Where is it at? Okay, wait a minute. Sorry about that. Okay. If I move my microphone, it throws everything off. Okay, this is going to be a whole lot better. Let me move this out the way. Whew, forgive me for being disorganized. Okay. Now, my one question is, oh my goodness, will Putin and Trump resolve the issues in the Ukraine? What are your thoughts on that? Oh, okay, I can't redo that. So, will that happen? Will that happen? Will there be some kind of resolution? Okay, it looks like there's a little bit more movement going on here. Okay. Look at they're doing sound checks and they have everything on mute. So all right. Okay, nothing yet. So as I was saying, now a lot of nations have jumped on the BRICS nations. Now, the BRICS nations right now is more of a bunch of countries that are coming together as one, and they all have there's so many pieces to BRICS, to where they have a financial, to where they do business amongst each other and they trade in their own currency. And you're like, politics with Laura, how do they trade in their own currency? Well, I'm glad you asked. From what I'm seeing is they're not using SWIFT. They're using another type of clearance house, to where and I know it's crypto. I'm not sure if it's XRP, if it's whatever it may be, but it is a type of crypto to where they're able to trade amongst each other and still have their own individual currency. So you could take, let's say, a peso and buy, let's say, Bitcoin. Then you take that Bitcoin and then you send it over to Putin to pay for whatever you want to get, and then that Bitcoin will go over to Putin, and then when he takes it from Bitcoin and then sells it, then it will go into the ruble. So that's what they have been doing. So a lot of countries, the first country that dropped the American dollar as being the world's reserve was El Salvador. I found that quite interesting. And the first country that has been using crypto and no longer use fiat money, you would never believe, it was in the Caribbean. I believe it's Barbados. So they have been doing that. They have been operating by using crypto, I think, for 2 years now. Now, El Salvador, they tried using Bitcoin and they jumped ahead. They're like, hey, I'm going to do this. Forget about the American dollar. I'm getting tired of them mistreating me and blah. Well, okay, that's what I'm saying. But they went ahead and did it, and they used Bitcoin, and it was a problem. They weren't able to settle the payments. You go into the coffee shop, you buy a coffee shop, and you pay with Bitcoin. You buy a cup of coffee. You think it's $2, and then next thing you know, Bitcoin goes up in price. I mean, it was a little bit crazy. So they had an issue with it. So then they made some adjustments, and I believe that they moved from using Bitcoin, and I can't prove it, but I believe that they're using XRP. I'm not quite sure, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying those 3 letters. Okay, I hope I don't. So there's a lot going on with the BRICS nations, and even now, Mexico is a part of BRIC nations. So I'm not sure about Canada, but you have a lot of countries are like, okay, I'm getting tired of the US sanctioning us and sanction us for like 20 years and telling other countries you better not do business with that country or you're going to face the same fate. And unfortunately, the United States does that. Instead of going to war, they'll go ahead and just turn off the money. And then you got to find a way for your people to be able to make it through the storm that you're in because of whatever stance you took or whatever what you did. And whatever you did, you believe that was best for your people. Okay. Outside of that. And that right there is just the reality of it. In fact, 2 years ago, Russia and Mexico has a treaty of friendship. I find that quite interesting. So Mexico and Russia are friends. Not only Russia, but Honduras, and I want to say Guatemala. I'm not quite sure. There are a couple of countries right there, right below the U.S., that has a friendship with Putin and that are on BRICS. So there is a lot there. Now, I'm not quite sure. I never understood why they used India. Forgive me for saying that. But there's a lot of issues going on with India. They have like this political civil war going on that's spilling out throughout the whole world. Canada, oh my goodness. Justin Trudeau is like, hey, wait a minute, India, why are you fighting over here? Could you please stop killing each other over here? Because they have a lot of political battles, and they're battling over, I don't want to say tribes, but certain ethnic groups, and it's extremely divided. And you think the United States, how we're divided? Oh my goodness, we are such, how can I say, we are such small time when it comes to other countries. Other countries have some serious beefs to where within that one country, an ethnic group and another ethnic group battle it out. Like look over at Ethiopia. Ethiopia has, oh man, they have so many different, they call them tribes. And Romo is I know I'm not pronouncing it that right. Romo is the biggest tribe. They're like, well, we're the best. And then you have the northern part, Terrenia, and they're the smaller one. And then, they get sort of left out of whenever it comes to, what is it called? Governmental gifts. They get very little. And it's just a battle of quién es más macho, who is bigger, who is better. So you have a lot of that going on over there. India the same way. Now you don't have it that bad when it comes to European countries. Yes, European countries do fight, but they fight differently. I mean, they're that's all that I can say. Oh, when are they going to come? When is this meeting going to start? I've been live streaming for 40 minutes. Does anybody want to come up and give their 2 cents in what they believe is going to happen? Come on up. Push it. Or if not, if you don't want to come up, I'll give you a number and you can call in. And then we can hear. Sorry about that. I'm trying to find my piece. Goodness. Oh, wow. Okay, that's not it. Sorry about that. I got it. Okay. Oh, people are coming in. All right. People are coming in and my phone died. Just give me a second for it to charge up a little bit. But if you want to come up, you can on StreamYard. You don't have to show your face, and you can hurry up and say what you believe is going to happen, whether there's going to be a resolution. And keep in mind, Zelensky has not been invited from, as far as what I said earlier, as far as him agreeing and then, dropping it. Let me see. Okay, they still got it on mute. Pursuing peace. Quite interesting. All right, people are gathering in. So this is going to be, in my opinion, going to be not only exciting, but it's going to be one of the very most important meetings or summits that's happening in politics this day and age. The two superpowers coming together to resolve an issue. Okay. All right, here we go. Come on, turn on the mic. Turn on the mic. You can. Come on. Excuse me. All right. It looks like people shuffling into a university stadium. Everybody finding their assigned seat. All right. Okay, wait a minute. I thought. Okay. All right, if you want to call in, you can call in that number. If you want to. Okay, good. It's up. If you want to call up, you can and say exactly what you think is going to happen. If you want to come up on StreamYard, or you could call in on the cell phone. Okay. All right, more movement, and still no President Putin, no President Trump. Ugh. Okay. So I I think, in my personal opinion, I think a lot of positivity is going to come out of this. I think the tariffs. I think a lot of positivity is going to come out of the tariffs. I think they can square some things around that. Uh, as far as the oil and the U.S. buying Russian oil and allowing other countries to buy Russian oil, because they sort of had a ban on buying Russian oil 2 years ago when a lot of this stuff started. So, and that's just simply what I believe. Or it could be a complete disaster, which I hope it's not. That would be awful. All righty, all righty, all righty. All right, they're turning it on. Can you hear the TV? If you're able to hear it, please let me know. It sounds a little low on my end. I'm not sure if you can hear it. Wait a minute. My end, I'm not sure if you can hear it. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. 100% believes that there's going to be a resolution between this meeting right here between Trump and Putin. So I'm going to go ahead and end this poll right here. So I think right there's a good thing. A lot. I hope a lot of good comes out of this. So if you want to call up before this starts, please do so. The number is right there in the chat section. If you want to come up and speak your piece, you can. The StreamYard link is right there. And most of all, please like it, get my video out there, and please subscribe to help me out. So subscriptions are for free. You can help out that way. Let me change this view right here. Hmm. Oh, okay. All right, that's better. That is better. All right, that's better. I'm sorry, I'm just working out some things here. Oh, why are you combing your hair on national TV? Oh my goodness, women, we do all kinds of wild stuff. We do all kinds of wild stuff. She's sitting there in the camera doing this. I don't care. I came here in a car. I just ran in here. Nobody's looking at me. Yeah, millions of people are looking at you, lady. Millions. Now I'm interested in knowing is India. What is India's thoughts on this right here? Due to all the internal conflict that's going on in India, I'm wondering within the BRICS nations and the extended nations, are they ready to vote India out? Because India flips flops back and forth. It goes back and forth between, yes, I'm against the United States, and then they turn around and say, yes, I'm for the United States. India is a tough one to call. Now, China, interestingly enough, is where India is right now as far as manufacturing. Now, India spent like the last 30 years being the manufacturing country of the world, to where everybody took everything and put it into China. Now, if you didn't know, you knew during the 19, right? You knew it then because we were waiting on masks and everything. Everything was being manufactured in China. And that right there rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And then the tariffs, and then China said, hey, those of you who buy high fashion, we make your stuff. That stuff is not coming from France. We make it and we use this. And matter of fact, let me tell you something. You don't even need to go to them. Come to me, because you're only spending $35,000 just on the logo alone. The bag costs $1,000. I'm like, oh snap! All right.
Good day. Just double checking our last minute translation booths, making sure everyone is getting everything is needed. Again, you should be having English in your English only modes. The floor will get both everything at the same time. On your headsets, it should be 00 floor, 01 should be English, and 02 should be Russian on your headsets. So again, just doing a couple last minute checks, making sure everything is going through as it should. Thank you.
Кремлевский пул, у вас все хорошо, все нормально? Камеры, покажите, пожалуйста, большой палец, что все нормально. Все, спасибо большое.
Now I'm going to tell you something rather interesting. I don't know if you know it or not, but you have people that are translating in those headphones. And a friend of mine worked at. She was a UN translator. So whenever they would come here in NATO, whenever they would come here to New York or wherever, they would have people in booths just sitting there listening and just translating. So these people have their headphones on. They're listening to people translate. I'm like, that is amazing. That's quite amazing. God put his head all in the way, like, hey, I'm here. I got my head in the way. Okay. Oh man. Waited for an hour. Ugh. Do you know how many guys would have left a woman right there while waiting? Oh no, I'm tired. I'm leaving. I'm getting tired of waiting. You see, I don't know if Trump put 10% tariffs on Russia or not. I'm not quite sure. But I know it was a fierce battle with China, and the tariffs going back and forth. You raised 20%, I'm going to raise 30%. It was wild, but I'm glad that they were able to settle it. Come on, come on. Okay, I have a question that I put up. I should have put it into a poll. Do you think Putin and Trump can work out their tariff issues in this meeting here? Do you think that that would be a part of the discussion? And if it is, do you think that there would be a solution? Let me see. Can I do this here? No. Got all these motorcycles going up and down the street. Ugh. All right. If you would like to come up, I dropped the link. And if you would like to call in, my number's right there. You can call in if you don't want to come up. And let us know how you feel about this meeting, and do you think it's going to have a positive outcome? And if you do, please call on up. And also, please like and please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. And that woman's still combing her hair. Okay, let me turn off the comments. You can see the comments. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm wondering. I don't know how many of you know that the Republic of Georgia, southern Russia, they're a part of NATO. And they won what is it called? Let me see, a contract that they will fix all the trains in Europe. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh, this is rather something. All the trains are going to be fixed in Republic of Georgia. And that would be fixed by NATO now, well, through them. And I'm just thinking, I just don't see how that's going to work. That's going to be a very sticky situation. You have a country right below Russia that is going to fix all of these.
I want to buy your house for cash, no matter what condition it's in. If you own an ugly, rundown house and you're just trying to get rid of it, keep watching. Not only will we buy your house, but we are so confident.
Okay, sorry about that. Oh my goodness. Okay, we have been officially waiting for an hour. Okay, I think something's happening. Wait a minute, I think something's happening. Who is that guy? Okay. It would have been nice if they would have turned up the at least let us hear what that was about. I don't know who that guy is in the front row over to the right. The guy right there who's standing up and talking to him. I don't know who that guy is. I mean, it seemed like reporters were jumping over each other trying to talk to him. So who is he? If anybody knows who he is, please put it down in the chat. I would love to know who he is. Okay. Okay. I think something's going to get started soon because we've been hanging around for an hour and 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Let me ask you, how many of you would wait an hour and 4 minutes for a person that you're going out on a date with and they're still not ready? How many of you would get up and leave by that time? I would. Okay. Oh man, these people are a little funny in the chat. You know, I'm thinking that if Zelensky would have been here at that meeting, I think that would have been a huge distraction. That's just my personal opinion, because I'm thinking about all the other times that there were Zelensky was at the table. It was very adversarial, very combative. Okay, wait a minute. I think we're on to something. I think we're on to something. I think it's getting ready to begin. Oh my goodness.
Back, mister. That's right. Losing fight. Robert, over here. Mark, how do you Bluetooth into the mixer? Chapter 3? Yeah. Yeah. They're very good. It's easier down. Lose a lot as well.
I don't even know what that guy is saying. Can you by any chance hear him speak? Let me ask you, how many of you believe that they will be able to achieve a ceasefire? So do you believe that can happen? Now, keep in mind, Zelensky's not there. Since he's not there, it's like Trump is talking for the Ukraine. In a nutshell, that's exactly what it is. Let me look on Twitter and see what they're not Twitter, but X. All right, I'm going to come back to this. I want to show you something because there's a lot going on Twitter, or shall I say X. Let me bring that up. Okay, that happened 10 hours ago. So Trump already boarded. He's already there. So there's just a lot being said about this meeting. Okay. Whoops. Okay, there's Alaska. Oh wow, okay. All right. Oh wow, stay home dictator. Okay. Well, I hope that they could work out what's going on in the Ukraine. That would be good. There's a lot of Ukrainian representation there. Who's that? 14? No, that's Independence Avenue. Right down here is Independence Avenue in DC. Oh my goodness. They're headed for Camp David. Yeah, Camp David. That was that 14th Street? No, that's what is that? Route 5? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Okay, I think they're getting ready now. Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Hillary Clinton.
Price.
We are on the precipice of a meeting between President Trump and President Putin in Alaska. Drawing on your experience as Secretary of State, if you were en route to Alaska, what would you be looking to get? What does an acceptable deal look like?
He is not meeting with a friend. He is meeting with an adversary, and an adversary who wants to see the destruction of the United States and the Western alliance. But if he could bring about the end to this terrible war where Putin is the aggressor, invading a neighbor country, trying to change the borders, if he could end it without putting Ukraine in a position where it had to concede its territory to the aggressor, had to, in a way, validate Putin's vision of greater Russia, but instead could really stand up to Putin to make it clear there must be a ceasefire, there will be no exchange of territory, and that over a period of time, Putin should be actually withdrawing from the territory he seized in order to demonstrate good faith efforts, let us say, not to threaten European security. If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay, that right there was quite strange. I mean, if you're at war, you're not going to concede the lands that you've conquered. But not only that, I mean, if you've been keeping up with this stuff, the United States has a lot to do with what's going on over there in Russia and Ukraine. There wouldn't have been this issue if it weren't for them destabilizing the Ukraine, causing the Iron Maiden. So there's a lot there. Excuse me, there's a whole lot there. Let me bring this back up. Oh my goodness, we've been waiting for an hour and 20 minutes and no talking that's going on. This is nuts. Just a question again, how many of you, if you were waiting for a date and they took an hour and 30 minutes to come downstairs to go out on a date, at what point would you have left within that hour and 20 minutes? Would you just got up and just bye? I hope that lady that doesn't comb her hair again. Oh man, because she was sitting there combing her hair. I'm like, oh my goodness.
How's this audio coming on? Go close to her.
Okay. All right, I think something's happening.
The headset just came in. Caroline, what? She may have to give up on this. Okay. Let's see live.
Oh, and also check me out on Instagram, Politics with Laura. I do a lot of stuff there, so check me out there. Oh goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America and the President of the
Okay.
Russian Federation.
Finally. Can you hear it?
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, Our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We have very thorough negotiations that were quite useful. I would like to thank once again my American counterpart for the proposal to travel out here to Alaska. It only makes sense that we've met here because our countries, though separated by the oceans, are close neighbors. So when we've met, when I came out of the plane and I've said, "Good afternoon, dear neighbor. Very good to see you. In good health and to see you alive." I think that is very neighborly. And I think that's some kind words that we can say to each other. We're separated by the Strait of Bering, though there are 2 islands only between the Russian island and the US island. They're only 4 kilometers apart. We're close neighbors, and it's a fact. It's also important that Alaska has to do with our common heritage, common history between Russia and the US, and many positive events have to do with that territory. Still, there is tremendous cultural heritage back from the Russian America. For example, Orthodox churches and a lot of more than 700 geographical names of Russian origin. During the Second World War, it was here in Alaska that was the origin of the legendary air bridge for the supply of military aircraft and other equipment under the Lend-Lease program. It was a dangerous and treacherous route over the vast emptiness of ice. However, the pilots of both countries did everything to bring closer the victory. They risked their lives and they gave it all for the common victory. I was just in the city of Magadan in Russia, and there is a memorial there dedicated to the Russian and the US pilots. And there are 2 flags, the US flag and the Russian flag. And I know that here as well, there is such a memorial. There is a military burial place several kilometers away from here. The Soviet pilots that buried there who died during that dangerous mission. We're thankful to the citizens and the government of the US for carefully taking care of their memory. I think that's very worthy and noble. We'll always remember other historical examples when our countries defeated common enemies together in the spirit of battle camaraderie and allyship that supported each other and facilitated each other. I'm sure that this heritage will help us rebuild and foster mutually beneficial and equal ties at this new stage, even during the hardest conditions. It is known that there have been no summits between Russia and the US for 4 years, and that's a long time. This time was very hard for bilateral relations, and let's be frank, they've fallen to the lowest point since the Cold War. I think that's not benefiting our countries and the world as a whole. It is apparent that sooner or later, we had to amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue. And in this case, a personal meeting between the heads of state has been long overdue, naturally, under the condition of serious and painstaking work. And this work has been done in general. Me and President Trump have very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone. And special envoy of the president, Mr. Woodruff, traveled out to Russia several times. Our advisors and heads of foreign ministries kept in touch all the time. And you know fully well that one of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict. And his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand its history, is precious. As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these conditions. We have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us, a terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots the primary causes of that conflict, and we've said it multiple times, to consider all legitimate concerns of Russia and to reinstate a just balance of security in Europe and in the world on the whole. And I agree with President Trump, as he has said today, that naturally the security of Ukraine should be ensured as well. Naturally, we are prepared to work on that. I would like to hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine. We expect that Kiev and European capitals will perceive that constructively and that they won't throw a wrench in the works. They will not make any attempts to use some backroom dealings to conduct provocations to torpedo the nascent progress. Incidentally, when the new administration came to power, bilateral trade started to grow. It's still very symbolic. Still, we have a growth of 20%. As I've said, we have a lot of dimensions for joint work. It is clear that U.S. and Russian investment and business cooperation has tremendous potential. Russia and the U.S. can offer each other so much in trade, digital, high-tech, and in space exploration. We see that Arctic cooperation is also very possible. And our international context, for example, between the Far East of Russia and the West Coast of the U.S. Overall, it's very important for our countries to turn the page, to go back to cooperation. It is symbolic that not far away from here, at the border between Russia and the U.S., there is a so-called international dateline. I think you can step over literally from yesterday into tomorrow. And I hope that we'll succeed in that, in political sphere. I would like to thank President Trump for our joint work, for the well-wishing and trustworthy tone of our conversation. It's important that both sides are result-oriented, and we see that the President of the U.S. has a very clear idea of what he would like to achieve. He sincerely cares about prosperity of his nation. Still, he understands that Russia has its own national interests. I expect that today's agreement will be the starting point, not only for the solution of the Ukrainian issue, but also will help us bring back business-like and pragmatic relations between Russia and the U.S. And in the end, I would like to add one more thing. I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities. And I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump is saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good business-like and trustworthy contact. And I have every reason to believe that moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. That was very profound. And I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on. Most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate. And I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Ratcliffe. Thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here. And I think, you know, everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time. And we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoax that made it a little bit tougher to deal with, but he understood it. I think he's probably seen things like that during the course of his career. He's seen it all, but we had to put up with the Russia hoax. He knew it was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax, but what was done was very criminal. But it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have dealt with. But we'll have a good chance when this is over. So just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting, and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there. I would like to thank President Putin and his entire team, whose faces, who I know in many cases, other than that, whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That was it. An hour and 20 minutes?
Down, please,
in,
sir,
in
down.
15 minutes?
Down, please, thank you.
They are moving the pool from the Russian pool out.
Okay. I don't know what to say. I have no words. They spoke for about 10, 15 minutes and said absolutely nothing. Is it just me? Is it me? I'm at a loss for words. Does anybody want to come up? I'm at a loss for words. I have no idea what to say because I thought it was going to be more than that. Okay, wait a minute. Sorry about that. I thought it was going to be more than that. I thought that there was going to be hammering out some things that we were not privy to where we would at least get a little bit of information on the inside to where we get little trickles of information, but they said nothing. What a terrible letdown. I'm not happy, but based on the gist of it, he's Putin saying that they made some headwaves and there is a possibility for a ceasefire, and And Trump's like, well, we hammered out a lot of things, but there's some big things that we really need to work on some more. And he's going to talk to the NATO and Zelensky. And they still told us nothing at all. I don't know. Okay. Does anybody have anything to say? You want to come on up? The number's right there. There's a link is right there too. If you'd like to come up, we could talk about what was said and what we can infer and what we heard. Oh my goodness, I'm so disappointed. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave it right here. Please like, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. And I'm so disappointed. I thought it was going to be more, but I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. Okay, so the meeting was the meeting. It lasted like 15 minutes long. And please put something down in the comment section. And I just want to thank you for stopping by. I don't know.